Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my Friday afternoon edition of Mich Chat Corner. I want to say thank you so much to everyone that's tuning in on this very snowy, at least in Wisconsin, afternoon. It is my distinct pleasure, of course, to be hosting today none other than the illustrious Frank Wade. And, of course, for those of you who don't know who he is the sole creator of an enterprise called $1 Trillion Entertainment. So I'm very, very excited to get him on the line and talk to him. So let's get going with the interview. Good afternoon, Frank.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
Hi, I'm doing very well for a snowy afternoon.
How
are you?
Good. We're just on the road. We're doing good. We're just on the road right now, going through Phoenix on our way to California for a concert video shoot with my guys, Hardhead and T. Gotti out in California.
Oh, wonderful. Terrific. Well, good deal. I've come up with a bunch of different questions because I find you to be kind of multifaceted. So there's just some things I want to throw at you here, and we'll have a little chit-chat today.
Okay.
I want to start off by saying, to me, it seems logical that your musical career path was destined because I know you come from a family of musicians. I want to ask you, what were some of the vital things that your family kind of instilled in you pertaining to the music industry? What did they kind of pass on to you?
Well, I think being in a family that was musically inclined, it was always, let's just say, a spiritual base first, I had a mother and father, who always made us get up every Sunday morning, no matter if we went out, on Saturday night we had to go to church. Not only that, but we had to play instruments in the church. So we became very well musically inclined and understanding, different facets of music, and then just growing up, going to college and different things like that and being exposed to different things, it really made me a well-rounded individual.
Okay. So I'm guessing that your family was all the more just excited and elated when you came home and said, hey, you know what, I want to have a musical career. Were they really encouraging of this?
Well, it was kind of hard punch home at first because, I was doing it when I was younger. But kind of got married, got a family, got a son, and put it on the back burner for a while. But then my youngest son, at around 7 years old, decided and said that he wanted to be a rap artist. So I started putting it together actually just to events on my old college campus. And then the job I was holding moved me to Kansas City, Missouri. And then I just fell in love with it again out in Kansas City, Missouri, and changed my former company from Dollar Entertainment to $1 Trillion Entertainment, and pretty much the rest is history. But I left the business world. Yeah, I left the business world making like a six-figure income, and decided one day that hey, I'm gonna walk in faith in this, and I don't care what anybody's saying. This is what I'm gonna do.
Cool. That's a cool attitude. I like that. That's really cool. You knew what you wanted, and you kind of went after it. It's awesome.
Right.
Did you overall, your preference, obviously, there's a big difference in musician-wise as far as being a singer as compared to, let's say, playing instruments. Did you really have a strong desire to be playing musically, or was it just all about singing for you?
I mean, what I'm doing right now, I think it all kind of intertwines with each other, because, I do play the keyboards, but, by having that musical ear, because, again, I'm in a rap game, I mean, it's easy for me to tell, if something is right versus if it's not right, and I think that, even in the rap game, you have to be creative in everything that you're doing, you know what I mean, and it just has to be a creative process, and, I got a good group of guys that work with me, Breeze, who's on the single with Rico, the Truth, who's, on the label, guy by the name of Glock, many others, and they're just very creative individuals, and we just try to bring creativeness to the process of what we're doing, and and everybody's pretty much musically inclined, so it makes it kind of easy for us to do what we do. Oh,
sure, certainly, I imagine so. I want to touch base a little bit. I know you're an Ohio native, and I know that you had attended the University of Akron. I gathered that during that time you had got the creative idea to formulate $1 Trillion Entertainment in the year 2000. When you started out, did you have your set goals in mind and saying, okay, we're going to take this company, this is what I have, this is the ultimate goal? Did you have it all laid out, or was it just kind of like flying by the seat of your pants?
Well, in the beginning it was just trial and error and learning. When I was in Ohio, I was learning some process about how to really put together events from a few of my fraternity brothers with next Phi fraternity by the name of DJ Low Key. He was really big in the acting area and kind of, showing me the process of how to put together an event. Once I got to Kansas City, we just pretty much was just trying to move forward and trying to build an entertainment group through events, and then it just kind of started taking on a life of its own. I had took on a couple of artists, some things didn't fall through. A couple of my producers were like, well, hey, you did it when you were younger. Hey, you get on mic. And I was like, man, I'm getting a little too old for all that right now, but I'm glad I did. And, again, it's just been an awesome experience. But once I knew in my heart this is what I was going to do, I sat down at my table one day in my house, I got with my accountant, I got with people who knew what they were doing as far as, putting the right paperwork together, and started moving forward with, putting together a plan because, I want people not to just say, hey, $1 trillion, this is what it is today. I think vision should be what will people say about $1 trillion 20 years from now, and that's all, that it lasts, and, that in the future people will still be talking about it.
Sure. Of course, definitely. We all want that, certainly. Would you say that there was some driving force in your life that kind of prompted you to create this business? I mean, you were just sitting around one day and you're like, oh, yeah, was there that one something that made you want to do this?
I always believe in one thing. Once you begin and you start understanding that creative process, that it's something that comes from up above, and no matter what people may see on the outside and all the entertainment that we do, there was just something inside of me that I believe that this was my mission, this was my calling to do this, and that I believe, everything, no matter, I believe that God was the driving force behind it. I know people may not, some people may not agree because, you're in the entertainment business, but, I just believe he has all kind of ways to reach people, and I think that once he gives you that level of faith and he gives you that go ahead to do it, it's his desire that he has a reason for it. I look at all the things and all the doors that have been opened, and I just know for a fact I couldn't have done that on my own. With some of the things I've been through and the doors that have been opened, somebody had been steering it for us, so
That's
I believe that's the driving force.
Gotcha. I get it. Now, I wanted to happily report that following, of course, in your family footsteps, I know that your son had come to you for mentorship relative to music.
Yes.
Had this truly, in your mind, as a dad, of course, been one of your own personal dreams that your son would want to follow in those footsteps?
Well, I don't know so much follow. I know, I've taught him a lot of things, but, he's becoming his own man now, and he's starting to build his own, particular way in things, but we talk all the time. We talk about creative ideas. He has his own group, but he still works with us with $1 Billion Entertainment. He has his own, which is Stackholders Inc. out of New Jersey, and he's one of the top artists out there in New Jersey right now. So, he's creating his own path, but we're here, the whole team. We're here to support him in what he does, and he's here to support us, and we kind of work it all together.
Sure. Gotcha. Now, do you think, in your own opinion, that he's prepared for some of the vigors that come with the entertainment business? Because, it's so cutthroat and so much competition. Do you think he's prepared to take that on?
Yeah, I think, some of the things that I've been through in life really has prepared me for it. It made me get a tough, thick skin. It made me evaluate people, in a different, I don't want to say different light, but to look at everybody on an individual basis. You have to understand personalities. And if you don't understand personality traits, some things that people do and say, it can anger you and make you do things that keep you from your blessings. So, you have to evaluate each situation and deal with it accordingly. Like I always tell, people, I say, good examples of Christ said, hey, you don't go pulling up the tear out of the wheat, because sometimes you can go in there and pull it up too quick and destroy the whole process. So sometimes you got to just let things just, move the way it is supposed to move, and if it's for you, it's going to happen, and nobody can stop it.
That's an excellent attitude, and you're 100% right about that, definitely. I wanted to kind of shed a light on this for good purpose, hopefully. I know that artists out there at some point in their life, some, not all, of course, have that complex position that you were in where you had brushes with the law, of course. Now, I know that your life history, has reflected a period of course, incarceration. Now, can you tell me during that time, how did that affect you personally, or how did it change you in some way for, just you as a person? How did that affect you?
I mean, it affected me as a person because it really helped me to see who your real friends are and who your real friends aren't. I felt like before that period I was doing a lot for people. I'll get straight off my back end, give and take the situation, how it happened. When it was all said and done, and I found out that, a lot of people, they really couldn't deal, with their own faults what they did. So eventually, my name caught in, and I had to go through time. And, I think it's still, even sometimes to this day, to not get one letter from people who say they were close friends, to not get, a phone call, something on your books. And then, I just feel that if I didn't have my paperwork and some things set up the right way, I would have came out of there, a homeless person, But, because I had good mentors who taught me some things and helped me to get some things right, I came out with a better attitude, as far as, that, come hell or high water, I'm going to do this, and I believe that, the blessings were upon me and I'm moving in it. Me and the team, Breeze, Rico the Truth, many others, we're just moving forward in it.
That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Do you think that this experience, meaning that time of your life, has it kind of helped to steer your son in a more positive direction, kind of like, here's been my experience with son, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it made me more serious because before with the music, it was just about, local celebrityism. We could go into clubs, we could, pop bottles, cars, all that kind of stuff. But when it was said and done, I don't think we were really taking the music serious back then. But, when I came out this time, it was an attitude of, hey, we're not going into big studios. We're going to get home studio equipment, and we're going to make people work for it. Like one of the things, like I always tell the story about Breeze, when he first came along, we had studio equipment there, and when he came on board, he was looking at it, and I pretty much left him there for days, and I said, you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And, he went in there and he figured it out. He had a drive, and those are the kind of people that I want around me, people who want to have drive, people who want to make it happen. And I think that's what's going on with us right now, that experience helped us realize that, you only really get one shot in life, and when you get that shot, you got to guard it, and you got to do the things that are going to get you there. And if that means that you got to cut some people loose, you got to cut some people loose. If that means that, hey, there's some people, you can't have relationships with, you just can't have relationships with, because the situation can destroy the whole situation. I think I'm learning that more and more the responsibility is laid on us, and I really have to, take hold, what God has given us,
Of course, I agree with you, hands down, definitely. And sometimes we always hope that our kids are going to learn from our mistakes, basically, or, experiences we've had. So that's really inspiring, actually. I wanted to throw something out here. I know to your credit, your first CD had sales in excess of 10,000 copies. What do you attribute that success, meaning as far as with your first creation just taking off like that? What do you attribute for that? What do you think is the cause?
Well, when we did it, we just went everywhere. We went everywhere, all across the United States, from the West Coast to the East Coast. I mean, just doing this by hand, just doing it by hand. But, the day and the day's internet, I don't have to do that as much now. But, I mean, we went from there to North Carolina to Florida, to anybody that was listening here. And, we just kept track of it, and when I saw that, that people really were buying, they were buying my material, I think that's when I really started seeing that, hey, this could be a lifestyle, this could be, something that I could really help some people with. And then, like I said, situations, prison happened, on the back burner, but now that I'm out, we really take this serious.
Oh, I imagine so, definitely. Did you take anything away from that in terms of a learning experience? How you're doing your first production, your first piece of work. What did you take away from that that's kind of helped you now?
Well, even in this, what I had to learn in this is that, you still really have to do your research. Talent is just not enough. You have to learn how to be an entertainer. And if you're going to, if you're going to do this, you have to learn what entertainment is. And not only that, you have to begin to understand numbers, because really it's all a numbers game. And if you can't turn your fans into paying customers, then, you really have to reevaluate what you're doing in this.
Right. Of course, definitely. And you have to have a goal, and you have to be very focused, of course, on anything that you're passionate if it's going to succeed. Exactly, I agree.
And that's good you mentioned that because, like, I like to tell people all the time, you should try to make the goals measurable. And when I say measurable, I tell them, we should say, hey, within 6 months, this is what we're going to do. If we don't reach that goal within 6 months, then we need to reevaluate why we didn't do it and come up with a different plan to reach that goal.
Right.
So I think that when you make those goals measurable, things really begin to happen.
Sure, I bet. And obviously they are taking off for you as we're getting into here. I wanted to touch base a little bit. I know it's been cited that some of the major influences you've had include people such as George Clinton and Dr. Dre. What are some of the characteristics that inspire you most about them? How are they affecting you?
About George Clinton, he's creative, and a lot of people don't understand that, started out pretty much as a doo-wop group, but something moved to him that he changed direction in a way that he was flowing with music, and his music really has affected the entire rap game, whether people want to believe it or not. His sounds from the 70s, in the late 60s are some of the sounds that really put a lot of the great artists like Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, many of them, Tupac, a lot of those sounds and those beats that we were hearing were a lot of things that George Clinton created. And so, George Clinton is he's just the father of everything. And I think, it would behoove anybody to try to, understand what that niche is, because when you find out what that niche and where you're going and seeing that he was successful in what he was doing, you can build off of those kind of things. And then what can we say about Dr. Dre? I mean, he's just a genius, and still even to this day. From a guy that can go from one label to the next label and continue to build and bring out artists such as Eminem, 50 Cent, and now Kendrick Lamar, it would be easy to study what they did because they're great. And, a mentor once told me, don't try to do what great people do. Just, try to learn. Just learn what they do and then build on that, and then you try to develop your greatness.
Definitely. I would agree with that, certainly. Now, here's an interesting question. Personally for you, two things. What do you foresee being the direction of rap music today, as well as your thoughts on this apparent, in my opinion, overwhelming number of rappers that just kind of seem to fall out of the woodwork like here, there, and everywhere that exists today? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think the state of it is today, it's definitely a paradigm shift in everything that's going on in the music industry today. I get some people who, they're constantly, battling who was better, was it back in the 90s or what's going on there. You get people from the East Coast who argue that the South has no lyrical content. I think, you have to do what's best for your surrounding area, and I think that the more and more people actually get in the game, and if you're really serious about this craft, you're going to develop. You're going to become creative, and if you're not serious about it, then you're just going to keep doing what everybody else is doing, And I know there's been some, heavy things going on with Rick Ross, but I got to give him shout-outs, because, this man moved from one way to another, and he's become creative, and he's really changed the dynamic, him and a Lil Wayne. They've really changed the dynamic of where, rap is, and we can't down them for their creativeness. It's like we can't down those who were creative before us. So I just think you got to find your own niche. I don't believe in really just trying to downplay, but I believe that everybody needs to continue to be creative and learn what it's going to take to be that creative source that's going to reach people. Because you have to begin to say to yourself, if I put this product out, what am I offering my listeners? What am I giving to them? What benefit am I going to give them? And when you come to that point and understanding that, I think you can go a long way in this industry.
Definitely. Do you see yourself personally, has there been a progression of rap music have you seen it evolving and changing over time, or where are you seeing this going over time? In terms of the rap side of things.
I think it's continuously evolving over time. You look at it, it's the number one growing, genre, and it's pretty much in the world. It's overtaking rap, rock. You take a look at where it came from with the Sugar Hill Gang in the 70s to where it is right now. And like I always tell, some some of the people who are with me. The number one consumers, you know, of rap music aren't black people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Number
No,
one
I know
consumers,
exactly.
so it definitely has been embedded into society. And I think that when we get platforms like this, we ought to use those platforms that we can help our generations and help them to grow and help them to better themselves and to become creative themselves, you know. And I think that it's a platform for a voice, and so we got to use it accordingly.
Definitely. I agree with that 100%. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your business. Of course, $1 Trillion Entertainment, for those that don't know, provides services such as video production, graphic art, recording, and, of course, commercial work. Talk to me a little bit about your selection process for the artists that you handle.
So one of the things that I usually do, I'm the type of guy that, you know, when a person comes up to me and says that they want to be a part of what we're doing, you know, I'm kind of a shunner, you know what I'm saying, because I test people to the limit. Because I want to know that they got something in them. You know, one thing I don't like is a quitter. You know, because, again, it's that old saying, if you don't first succeed, try again. And I study a lot of people who are great men in America, throughout the world. You know, a lot of these men fail thousands of times, but what made them different from anybody else? They never quit. And, you know, that 1,010th time might be the time that you hit it. So I look for people that won't quit, you know, and I'll shut them and I'll take them through a process, you know, just wanting to see, you know, I like to test the limit of the spirit, because if the spirit can be tested and the person can still stand tall, then I'm going to run with those kind of individuals, because those are gems right there. Than a person who is just kind of like, oh, just want to be there for the ride, you know. Because the person who really has something in them, they're gonna stay, and they're gonna roll, and they're gonna listen, and they're gonna understand where you're coming from. That you know, it's bigger. And I always have a saying, it's bigger than me, no boy. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you find is the most challenging part working with the various different musicians? What are the challenges involved with that?
I mean, it's always going to be egos, you know, because everybody's going to want the spotlight, everybody's going to want, you know, everything. But it's just like, you know, again, when my mentors told me, it was when I thought I was ready for something at a point in time in my life, and I didn't like it that he told me not now. He said, not that you won't do it, but it's just not right now. There's still some more growing to do. And so sometimes it's just, you know, getting, you know, people to understand timing, because timing is everything, you know. And at the right time, when it's your time, nobody can stop it. I just totally agree with that, you know, but you get some people who want to rush the time, you know, and then they make a mess of things. So sometimes you got to deal with that, you know, and then you got to deal with people who think that they're great but don't want to put in the work to become great.
Right. Gotcha. Now, let's talk a little bit specific to your empire, of course. I know that you currently are handling individuals such as Chucky Freeze or Rico the Truth and Breeze. Can you just elaborate a bit on their work and how might us as individuals, outsiders that aren't as familiar with your company, be able to get a glimpse of their work?
Well, I always say that, you know, Breeze is pretty much the creative force, I would like to say, behind all the music, you know. I mean, he's a guy that gets in there, he becomes creative with the music. A lot of the things that you hear on the track is a lot of his creation, you know, like the new single we have with Overground with Sean Paul and Bone Crusher. It was a track that Breeze actually produced. So, you know, he's genius, and I always tell people, once I'm done, he's up next, because he's been really loyal and faithful, you know, to the cause. And, you know, I mean, he's a diamond in the rough. And so I'm just going to tell people, don't sleep on Breeze, you know, because he's getting ready to come out, him and Rico the Truth, they're going to come out with their mixtape, which is called Short Days, Long Nights. And, you know, I mean, Rico is just a lyrical genius. You know, I mean, his thought pattern, his creativeness. I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, it's just off the chain, and you can't ask for better people than that. And then Chucky Freeze, you know, he's also my nephew. He's my sister's son. So, you know, he's been moving on me for a long time. And, you know, I've just watched him over the years. And what I say, I touch people, you know, and just because, you know, you're my relative don't mean I'm just going to, you know, but he's proven himself. I mean, he's really been down there grinding in Florida, and we have just made him officially a few months ago over $1 trillion, you know, Miami, Florida, and so it's working out good. And we're getting people down there that's very interested in the movement and what we're doing. And, you know, we're getting ready to do a single that we're going to release for him that he just put out called Old Charlie, and and we're gonna do a video for it. And everybody, just be on the lookout for it. And but we just have a great group of men, and we also looking at getting in a little bit of entertainment and boxing. We're gonna meet with a guy down there by Marco Hall who wants to be a part and wants $1 trillion to pick up the mantle to be, pretty much the entertainment company as he moves forward in his boxing career. So, we're just gonna try to open up, some venues and do what we can, and if God will, we want to be a blessing to other people.
That's awesome. I absolutely admire that quite a bit, actually. And in order to get a glimpse of their music, where do we go to, or how do we find them?
Well, if you want to find our music, you can always go, like I said, you can go to my Twitter, which is Frank Wade. It's all Frank Wade 23, always in higher case. Or Facebook, we're always posting there, same thing, Frank Wade, higher case, or Reverb Nation. We have videos. Just look up $1 Trillion Entertainment on YouTube. We have Breeze's Twitter, which is Breeze220 at Twitter. We have Rico the Truth is Twitter, and they're with me right now, Rico the Truth, at Rico the Truth Twitter, and Chucky Freeze. You can find all those guys right there. Everything we do. You can find us on Reverb Nation.
Right.
We're out there in so many places. We're really learning how to play this internet game.
Oh yeah, social media makes the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
On iTunes, Amazon, everywhere.
Perfect. Absolutely wonderful. Now, I want to talk about you, obviously you yourself musically, in terms of some of the pieces you've done. I know Eyes on You, Money, and of course, obviously, Overdrive, which is a single in which you're paired up with the Moguls, Bone Crusher, and Sean Paul. Tell me what this experience has done for you personally in terms of working with individuals such as that. What have you gained from them? What kind of experience did you have with that?
I mean, it definitely steps your game up, and it helps you to see what made people like Sean Paul and Bone Crusher platinum artists. I mean, these guys, they go in with a good work ethic, and they get it done. They don't waste no time in the studio. They know where they're going, and that should tell every young artist something that, when you get in that booth, you should know where you're going. It's just like, a paper you're writing. It's just like, setting up anything. You got to have, like people like to come out with a thesis. You got to have an antithesis to it. You got to have your 3-point subject and, sub-thesis and a conclusion, So by being around people like Sean Paul, Bone Crusher, the Jacka, Hardhead, just so many others that we've done work with, Boy Big and Kansas City, Richard Factor, Tech Nine, and, watching some of their work ethics and what they're doing, it definitely picks up, it rubs off on you that, you have to, you have to know what you're doing, and you really have to study your craft. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't study your craft, it's just not going to happen.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense to me, of course. Did you, or are you finding, I should say, throughout the course of time in your career, is your style of music changing, how you do things, the kind of things that you're producing now, is that any different than some of the stuff you did in the past?
Yeah, it's way different. I mean, we're continuously evolving and developing the music that we're doing. We believe that we have just a total different sound in Kansas City, Missouri, what we're trying to do, we're trying to bring a universal sound. We don't want a sound that's just going to be for local. I mean, we love our city. We're going to always put on for the city. But we want to be able to have a universal sound that attracts many, not just, Kansas City, not just in the United States, but we want to go worldwide. And so, we're constantly evolving, and, the music has definitely changed from the early days.
Oh, I bet it has. I mean, just look at it. I mean, it's amazing to me, just some of the young guys coming up and now looking at things and how things have changed so much. I always find it interesting to ask you personally, in terms of when you compose or put together some kind of music, what sorts of things inspire you?
What are the things that inspire me?
Yeah, in terms of when you're composing or putting music together.
I mean, it's definitely the rhythm of the beat, and then because I'm a stickler on artists being able to not just rap over the beat, but be able to rap with the rhythm of the beat. And you got to be able to find those distinctive sounds, because there are just distinctive sounds that affect the psyche. And I look for those sounds that do affect the psyche. And then we try to build on it from.
Hello? Oh, no, it looks like we have lost our guest, which happens on rare occasion, unfortunately. My guess is he probably hit a patch or a tunnel or something like that. For those of you that are just tuning in, obviously, we are speaking to Frank, who is obviously the creative mind behind $1 Trillion Entertainment, which basically is an organization that does things such as video production, graphic art, recording, and commercial work, things of that nature. He's done some extensively good work in terms of, he released his first CD. It was 10,000 sales off the bat. And he's done some amazing work with individual rappers, not only within his family, but some of the bigger names that are out there. We were just discussing Overgrind, which I believe is his most recent production with Bone Crusher and Sean Paul. And, of course, he's going to be moving into, we're just going to our last question shortly here, which is going to be discussing 2 new opportunities that his business is going to be bringing up somewhere down the pipe here in the near future. So I'm interested to see what direction that $1 Trillion Entertainment is going to be in. It looks like we might have gotten him back here, so 1 second. Hello, Frank?
Hello?
Hi, Frank.
Hello? Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, please. I'm glad
I can hear
you're back
you.
here.
I think we got it.
Yeah, that's okay. We were just discussing your inspirations in terms of what moves you were to produce the kind of music that you do.
Well, like what we're saying, we're always looking for the rhythm, because, again, we don't want people to rap over the beat. We want them to rap with the rhythm, and I think that plays a part because there are certain rhythms that deal with the psyche of an individual, and then from there, you just have to build your subject matter, and it has to be something in what you're saying that's going to bring benefits to your audience. It has to bring value to them. And if we're not bringing a benefit or value to our listeners and our song, then, it's just a recording. And so we want to always be able to say, what value are we bringing to our listeners? And if we can bring value and a benefit to them, then we believe that we got a potential to have a hit.
Sure. And you've done this long enough to where you kind of, I think, get a feel for, what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. And what's a good thing and what's not.
Right.
Which comes to experience, of course, definitely. Now, the last thing that I wanted to ask you about, of course, which involves $1 Trillion Entertainment, I know that you're doing 2 new things on the pike here, meaning that you're talking about adding a modeling division to your list of offerings, as well as adding a boxer to your roster. So maybe share with the listeners details on both of those, as well as how you think it'll shape the future of your business.
Okay, well, what's going on is that, with the modeling, we always want to, because, you got to have, it's all entertainment. And so when if you got the right things in place for entertainment, and I'm a firm believer that, 80% of the world looks to things through a visual eye. And if they can see things visual, then a lot of people come, and so in building the modeling component, it's really a two-way street here. We're trying to, afford the opportunity for aspiring models to become a part of what we do as a free service, and that they can list their resumes on that site and, ask for potential clients, say, if they want to, do videos or video shoots or photo shoots, and that people can come to our site and see what they've done out there in the business, because sometimes you get so many people model, but they have no track record. They have no website. They have nothing to really show what they've done. So we're trying to help to develop that. Not only that, but use that as a vehicle with us, that when we do our projects, that we can also take advantage of those individuals that are coming to our site, maybe give them enough potential to have, maybe some kind of income and, things that we do. And so it's doing pretty good. We're getting a lot of requests for that site right now.
Okay,
it's called
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead.
It's called www.mymodelsonline.com. That's if there's some aspiring models that want to just post their resumes up there and their pics, just send us a request, and it's a free service.
Oh, great. Okay, wonderful. So this is something that you think is going to be taken off sooner than later then, is from what it sounds like.
Right.
Okay. Now talk to me about the boxer a little bit. Tell me about who he is and how you found him.
Well, what it is, actually, he came to us through Chucky Freeze. He just moved into the Miami area. He began boxing professionally. And, he wanted to get with a group that he felt that was up and coming, and that, in his fights, that, he could pump our music and everything that he's doing, He does fights in Florida. He does fights in Vegas. And then we begin to talk about maybe putting a boxing component to this, like an entertainment component to the boxing. So we're putting all the pieces together now, and I tell people to stay tuned. I think this is really going to work.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting, actually. And I have to tell you, just in our short amount of time together here, Frank, I just think it's amazing. You've taken yourself from, not the best circumstances at one point in your life. You had this conceptual idea. You have a passion for it. You're good at what you do. You kind of pulled all those elements together, and you've brought this production of Throwing Down Entertainment together, and it's working well for you. I mean, I think you're very impressive as an individual, and your talent and the music, of course, which I checked out a hair bit here and there. I think that you're destined for some great things, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to assist other people to do the same thing. I think you're a pretty top-notch fellow, definitely.
I appreciate that, and that's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal, You learn each one, and I just believe that, if God gives us the platform, which I believe that He's doing, that we're going to reach some people, and, to show them, that you can use this as a vehicle to bring a community up.
Oh, definitely. And I think that that's a good part of it, too. We're out there to make money and be successful, but if you're able to, like you're saying, contribute to the community, that's a big thing. Now, before I let you go, I want to just reiterate, I'll do the rundown here and let me know if I've forgotten anything. I know, obviously, that you can be found on iTunes and YouTube, Reverb Nation. Obviously, you yourself have the Facebook page as well as a Twitter presence. www.trilliondollar.entertainmentllc.com is the website.
Right.
For modeling,
yes.
You mentioned www.mymodelsonline.com. Am I forgetting anything?
Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, you just look me up on Twitter, FrankWade23, all in our case. Facebook, FrankWade23, all in our case. I'm there.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. And I will encourage everybody, of course, after this, now that the show is complete, I'll put all my information up on your personal page, or my personal page, rather, so people can go ahead and check you out and find you, certainly. And just so you know, after this episode is done, anybody can go back all year round and listen to this, so this way they can get some more information about you. And I would love it if you would consider us in the future. I'd love to have you back anytime.
Okay, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you for the time and this interview.
Sure. Definitely. Not a problem at all, Frank. You have yourself a wonderful weekend, and I'll be watching you to see how you do.
Okay, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
All right.
Thanks. That was my exclusive interview with Frank, obviously $1 Trillion Entertainment. Just to reiterate again, he obviously has his music out there on iTunes, Reverb Nation, YouTube. Again, Twitter handle is @FrankWade23. In addition to which, www.trilliondollar.entertainmentllc.com. Any of you that might be listening who have some form of an interest as is relating to the modeling side of things, www.mymodelsonline.com. So definitely go ahead and check out his music. I think he's definitely doing some terrific things in the industry, and I just applaud his efforts as it relates to being able to help out young, up-and-coming individuals in the industry. Just a couple quick things before I go off here, obviously, until next week. I can let you know that this coming Tuesday, we are hosting a very young and very sweet, established country singer by the name of Chantel Marie. One of her biggest claims to fame being, of course, not only does she resemble Shania Twain, but she also does the Shania Twain music. And that's going to be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Standard Time. On Wednesday, we have a local musician, a good friend of mine, and Tracy Hanneman of the Eddie Butts Band, and that will be Dean Richard. And he is penciled to be on at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time on Wednesday. And then we have Sam Crow Radio rolling up at 4 o'clock Central Standard Time on Saturday, which is with the very multifaceted and talented E.R. Ruiz. You can check that out on, of course, my other station, which is Sam Crow Radio. The very last thing that I wanted to throw out there to those of you who follow the show faithfully or who know me personally, I just wanted to give a quick shout-out to ask that everyone sends a very good, strong thoughts and very big prayers this weekend for myself and, of course, for my sister and best friend. We've been going through some very heavy-duty tragedy lately, and I know this is proving to be a very challenging time for both myself and, obviously, of course, for her and her loss. So I would ask that all of you that are listening out there, if you please just take a moment out of your lives sometime over the weekend, just again to send some good prayers to Annie. She's going to be struggling, but I have great faith in her. She's a wonderful, wonderful person, and I'm helping her through her loss. And I would appreciate it if you would help us through ours as well. So I thank you so very much for taking the time to listen to my show. Feel free to check out, again, all the information will be on my personal page relative to Frank and his empire. Have yourselves a great weekend and stay clear from the snow.